Alright, it's 7 August 2008. Honda Odyssey stuff. This looks like a hard drive. Yes, that's what it is. The hard drive on the camera that I'm using right now died. So I'm missing some of the video from where I primed and painted and fabricated parts for the Odyssey. But anyway, here's where I am. Here's my gas tank. That's all been primed and painted. That's Rust-Oleum paint. It's all been sandblasted out and cleaned. There's the seat back. That's another thing that you missed all the fun on, unfortunately. There's my engine. I was doing a pull test using that scale. I clamped those vice grips on and did a pull test to check the tension of the springs. The existing springs are about 22 to 23 pounds pull. Fortunately, one of my brothers had a pair of springs that he got from manufacturer's supply, and I'm going to put those in. Let's see, what else do I have going on? This was a lot of fun right here. That was the spring for the oil seal for the rear end. I don't know if you can see this, but I welded up a station here to hold the rear end. That was another thing, unfortunately, that I lost on the hard drive, was taking that rear end apart. There's the Odyssey right now, and that's how she stands, or sits, or lies, whatever you want to call it. Anyway, the rear end brake assembly has been all cleaned up. I turned the disc on my lathe, which I have to fix my lathe too, because it's got plastic gears inside, and I shredded those plastic gears turning this thing on the lathe. I really need to go out and get me a decent lathe, heavier dutier. Let's use some bad English here. Clousing, I've been told, probably something like that. Anyway, so my rear brake is probably one of the few Odysseys where the rear brake actually works. For now, because I needed to stiffen up that cable, what happens is when you pull that lever, the brake actually works, but then when you drop the lever down to return it, there's a little sleeve, and my back's kind of screwed up right now, so I'm not going to bend down and show you that little guide that cable just slides through, but it kind of gets floppy when you drop the cable down, and it doesn't let the brake release because the tension is held by, there's a pivot point inside on the right about there, underneath that dome cover, and when you pull on the brake handle, that rotates and the springs or the pads open up and engage the drum inside. So that's not enough spring tension to return that brake. So again, I put that stiffener bar on there for now, and that seems to work out. Here's my rear end. It's that's been a lot of fun. I don't even remember. I think I got a lot of that on video, but again, I had to replace that oil seal on that shaft, that side of the shaft that goes through, and bought two brand new seals and screwed up both of the springs until I figured out how to do it properly. It's really touchy. You got to turn it slowly, drop it down real slowly, and kind of wiggle it in, because I had put it in place in that stand, and you think you're all done, you bolt the case all back together and you turn it up on edge, put some oil in there, which was pretty much a waste of time the first couple of times, and then realize that the edge of the oil seal, the lip of the rubber, is sticking out a bit, and you pull it back out and you see that the spring's been mangled. Not a lot of fun. Alright, as far as the shock mounts, there's some standard rubber mounts that Honda makes, and I really don't care for those. So if you see that spring there, I did this on my older brothers, where you take that spring and you cut that in half, and then you take that rubber mount apart. That's got a bolt on the other side of it, and then there's a same type of bolt where it's a plate going straight up, and that goes up into the exhaust to hold the exhaust in place. So you weld that spring in between there, and actually I'm just going to cut that spring in half, gingerly weld that with a MIG welder in between, and that takes the place of that rubber mount, and works just as well. There's the seat pad base. Again, I had to fabricate a seat pan, and I'm not taking this all apart to show you, but that was an awful lot of work, including this cross member. I had to fabricate that cross member, and it's nice though. Everything's nice. Had to run a brake cable through this frame structure up through that vertical column area, and then it comes out. But unfortunately, you know, by the time I got it all done, and that was really a nasty thing, you got to pull out on this. See, a lot of sunlight here. Anyway, you got to pull out on that cable bit and pull on it with vice grips while that lever is not on. You got to take that lever out, pull it on with vice grips, and then come back around here and screw that thumb screw up into that vertical threaded area. And by the time I had it all said and done, I realized that I didn't have that rubber boot on, but I'm gonna probably just wrap that up. I've still got the rubber boot. I hate to cut the rubber boot and then coat it with something, but I guess I could do that too. I'm just not about taking that cable back apart, because that was really a nasty thing to get up in there. Maybe one of my brothers that watches this will say, hey, I'll come over and do that, and I can just sit around and drink a beer. Anyway, about ready to go. The rear tires are in the back of my Jeep over here. I picked those up from Kensington Motors. Man alive, you know, I cleaned those rims up, did all that work, and Kensington Motors charged me $48 to mount those stupid tires. Is that a robbery or what? I could have taken it over to my older brother's house. He's got all the stuff and everything to do that, but I don't know, I guess I'm stupid and stubborn sometimes, not in a good way. But there's my brand new Fox AMS AT tires. I'm pretty happy with them, brand new treads and everything, and they hold air. Same thing with the front. Those front tires up there, those are the split rims. The ones in the back of the car are the solid rims. So these are split rims, and I jumped the gun. I cleaned up my own O-rings. A friend of mine has a set of O-rings, but by the time I, you know, got that information and everything, I'd already put these back together. So I just kind of cleaned them up, believe it or not, with a scuffing pad, not to score them or anything, but just to make sure that there was nothing on them, and then cleaned them up with household soap, dried them off well, and then put some silicone grease on them. And these have been on now for about a week plus, and haven't lost any noticeable air. Anyway, got to get some new fuel lines for the carburetor, put everything back together, but I'm pretty much ready to go. Knock on wood. See ya.